Hey guys, before we start, I'd like to talk about the Gunpla Warfare Gundam Battle coming to Android and iOS summer 2019. If you go ahead and pre-register, you can get us Grandpa or Wing Zero. That's just something to keep in mind, and I'll drop the link for it down below. Please register so we can all have a good time with Grandpa. Now, as you can see, speaking of Grandpa, this is exactly the model we'll be building together today. It is the 1/144 Real Grade RX-78. And I don't know if it says 30th or Gunpla 30th anniversary, but the decals that it comes with does indeed say Gunpla 30th anniversary. And that's what we opted to put on the, I want to say, the left shoulder blade. Now, I really do love the real grade models, and I enjoy the amount of detail that goes into them. And I was really excited to get my hands on the RX-78. As you all know, that is actually one of my favorite model kits to put together. We have put together the, I think it's the big model, I think it's called Mega Size. We put together the Mega Size. We have put together the high grade, we have put together the real grade, and the master grade. So next, all we have to do is the perfect grade as well as the SD version. I want to do the standard SD as well as the one with, I think it's the cross silhouettes. Now, the real grade models are about the same size as the high grade models, but with the detail of the master grade models. Now, for those of you who have actually been putting models together for quite some time, this does not come as news to you. You already know this. But for those who are new to modeling, have just joined us with these videos, it is the grades determine the amount of detail as well as I guess the size that goes into it. I'm still figuring it out myself. Now, I forget how it scales, but I know high grade is like your basic entry level. Real grade, I want to say, is a step up. Master grade's bigger than that, depending on the model kit. I want to say high grade and real grade RX-78s are both 144, and the master grade is 160 to 190, I want to say. Or 170, I can't think of what the master grades, or it's 100, I want to say. And then you have the perfect grade, I want to say is the 160. And then the mega size, I can't remember the scaling for that one off the top of my head. But that's just, I can actually, will show you all the differences in sizes because, like I said, we do have all of the grandpas. And it'll be easy to show off the size difference. So that's something I'm excited to do. And another thing, we are actually recording on the, I want to say it's called the Blue Snowball. I recently picked it up while on vacation, and I'm genuinely excited to see how the sound quality turns out. Beforehand, we were just recording into a standard Corsair gaming headset, which picked up a little bit of everything, a little bit of too much if you ask me. So I'm genuinely excited to see how this turns out. I cannot wait to share this with you all, and I hope you all get a kick out of it. Now, the thing I really like about the real grades here is that the legs have these they're inner frames, I would say. It's kind of already pre-built, so unlike the high grade where you have to kind of piece everything together, here you're just setting up the leg, and then you start adding the armoring, I guess you would call it the armoring on the outside, which is really nice. Now, there is a little bit of twisting here, and if you're not careful, you can actually break off some of these pieces. So I was super careful about that, because Lord knows I did not want to break this. I am always careful with all of the models that we put together, but when it comes to the RX-78, I am delicate. I am as gentle as can be. Now, the stickers for this, I do like the real grade stickers. I'm not a big water decal kind of fan. I have yet to actually figure out how to put water decals on there, so that might be why I'm not a big fan of it. I am super excited to learn how to do water decals, but that is not on the list of things to learn as of late. I tried it once and it didn't end well for me, but here's to hoping that next go round it ends a little better. I think I don't quite understand how the water slide decal works. I think you just wet the sticker and slide it onto the part that you want, but I'm not entirely sure. As for stickers, you peel them off and you stick them on, and there you go, there's your decal. So this one had four actually. I had to remember that, 2 on each side, little gold decals that I think I've already put on. And I had to adjust the camera angle once or twice so that you could see what I'm doing, because a lot of the times my hands are off camera closer to me so I can see the smaller parts, and it makes it really hard for y'all to see. So a lot of the times you'll see me toying around with the camera. I try to get it perfect the first go round before we start recording, but you know, not everything goes the way it is planned. Now I hate the fact that this took a little bit longer than normal. The real grades are a little more detailed, and they do have smaller parts than the master grades or the high grades. Well, the high grades have about the same amount of parts, not parts, but like size parts, but the real grades with that extra detail have a lot more that go into them. So a lot of the times I get turned around and I'm super careful as to not break anything. Now, a lot of the times I don't do panel lining, and I don't think I'll be doing the panel lining for Grandpa. I'm still figuring that out. That is a work in progress that we're still working on. I can do some panel lining, but a lot of the times it just smears off, and in some of the creases I can't get the panel lining to stay. Now, if you have any tips or tricks as to how to make panel lining work a lot better, please drop them in the comments below and share the secrets of your trade with us so that we can also improve as Gunpla builders. And to turn back to the beginning of the video, the Gundam game that is coming to the phones has not been released in the West, and I'm genuinely excited for it as someone who enjoys building and playing with building and posing Gunpla. Playing is what my father would have called it, but building and posing them, it's pretty nice to have the option to toy around with it on the phone. And I'm excited to see what they do, how they handle it. I'm assuming it'll be your basic phone game where you you'll have to buy tokens to unlock stuff, or you can do the weekly grinds. Like I said, I'm genuinely excited to see how that turns out, and I can't wait to share that experience with y'all. And do keep in mind that the more people we get to register, the better the reward. I genuinely am okay with just getting the RX-78. But the wing would be pretty nice too. I've actually not done the wing model. I have done I used to have a wing model somewhere, and it's the one with the feathers. I can't remember what the name or what the difference is between them. I wasn't a big Gundam Wing fan, so those kits, the names of them do escape me, but that's pretty cool. That's a pretty nice reward for those of you that do want the wing model. So just something to keep in mind. And you don't have to, I don't know if you have to fully play the game, but go ahead and pre-register. Who does it hurt? And then on top of that, we also have, if you're a PlayStation fan, we have the Gundam Battle Operations 2, which is also dropping in the West. Now, for those of you who do keep up with video game related news, you know that you were able to create a Japanese account on the PlayStation and play on their servers as well, but this time it's coming to us. So, if you want more Gundam games, I highly suggest you back these up. We don't get them a lot, and when we do, we have to support them, or else we won't be getting any more. So I'm fully behind it, even if it is just a free-to-play game. Now, I don't know how much customization goes into them, but I know you can change the paint job, and for anyone who loves custom Gunplas and kit bashing, I feel like that's pretty cool as well. I always look at video games as a way for me to test out and see what colors I think would work with the Gunpla, and it gives you kind of a free way to play around with it without actually having to spend money and ruin your precious Gunpla. Which, let's be real, sometimes these get up there, and you don't want to have to do a kit bash or a color change just for it to not look how you wanted it. So the ability to be able to play around with it on technology is really nice. I know a lot of people also upload photos to Photoshop or any photo editing software and change the colors there. And that's also a good way to visually see what it is you're doing before you start changing the colors. We tried painting a Gunpla a couple of months ago, and me and my wife, we enjoyed it, but it was a process. We tried to prime it with, I think it's the Tamiyama primer, and while that ended well, it did not give even coatings, but that's also because that was my first time doing the spray painting. So it's less the paint's fault, and all mine. That is all my fault. But then she started painting and it ended up a little better. We have yet to finish the model. She's put it off and she'll continue it when she feels like it. She goes at her own pace with this and I don't blame her. It can be a lot. And you know, when it's your first time, you really don't want to mess it up. Now it seems like this video is going by really fast as we've already started on the waist. And I can tell you right now, in person, I would say this took about 2 hours and some change to 3. Now that's because, like I said, I do take my time with the real grades and I don't want anything to happen to them while I'm doing this. I genuinely love putting these things together, and nothing breaks my heart more than hearing that snap, that crack, and that pop of a piece that you can't put back together. Nothing hurts more than seeing a leg part or a leg joint that is snapped in half, and you can glue it back together, you can piece it back together, but it's just not the same. Another bad thing along with that is when you're putting a piece together and it just flies off and it's just gone forever. That happens to me a lot, especially with the smaller parts. I'll go to clip them off of the runners and next thing I know, well, the part is the one doing the running. It's taken off down the carpet and it's a pain to find some of these tiny parts in the carpet. I have lost countless V-fins to the evil carpet monster, and when I have found them, sadly they weren't in one piece, but 2. And that hurts. So, my biggest advice for any upcoming Gunpla builders is to make sure you're super careful and you have a clean workspace when putting these things together, and you have a good eye for them, because that small piece that you didn't think much of when you took it out of the bag, that can make a big difference. I mean, think of it. Have you ever seen, would you want to see an RX put together without the V-fin? Now, there's a difference between taking the V-fin off for battle damage or any kind of customization, and then just not putting the V-fin there because you lost it. That's something that'll live with you forever, and while you can go get another V-fin or you can go buy another model kit, it's just not the same. Trust, I know the feeling. And then it sticks out from the rest of your collection, staring at you, asking why you weren't careful with it that time, and it haunts you forever. So, always be careful when putting these things together, and do keep in mind, if you're using clippers, they are sharp, so make sure you don't nip yourself, because I've done that a couple of times too, and while it's not super painful, it's kind of annoying. Now, I do recommend having a pair of tweezers next to you when you do put these things together, mostly because the tweezers do allow you to toy around and fidget with the small parts. There is a portion on the legs where you put little round caps, and sometimes it's a little hard to get to them with my fingers. Now, if you have smaller fingers, or you have nails, fingernails also helps, just so you can kind of grab onto the part. Then it makes it a little easier to toy and rearrange some things. But if you don't, well then I do recommend having a pair of tweezers next to you so that you can, adjust on the fly. Now the waist portion here, and actually the upper body if I'm correct, can be switched out for 2 different versions. You have the core lander and then you have kind of the standard frame. I didn't put the core lander together this model because I do not plan on displaying it with the core lander. But I might do that at some point in time. I won't do a video for it. It's super small, super simple. If we do a video, it'll probably be something on an Instagram story, which, as stated before, you can check out the Instagram and the Facebook down in the description below, as well as on the page. I try to make sure that all social media websites are updated frequently and evenly. While YouTube does get all of the videos, Facebook does indeed get some of the videos. Instagram is mostly where you'll see the photos of the before, during, and after process, as well as any kits that I do pick up, and updates with the Model X webpage. As you can see here, we've gotten halfway through, and I'll probably start doing breaks at this point for the real grades, or any of them that have those fancy little color palettes. We'll do like a little 5-minute break. And while 5 minutes does add some time to the video, it gives me time to step away and, take some breaks, grab some food, stuff like that, because This stuff is a process, and I try to knock them out in one sitting for you guys, as opposed to stretch them across multiple videos. Now, some of the bigger gunpla, we will be doing multiple videos, or it'll take me more than one go-round to do, because of the size and the time that they take. Once we get a bigger space that I can work in, I would love to do some of the bigger ones. It's just right now, if I start a project, I don't have room to just let it sit. I kind of have to finish it, or else my actual work desk gets cluttered, and I don't like that. Now you'll see we're putting stickers on some more of the parts here. And one of the things I normally do is once we're done with the model kit itself, I will put all of the stickers on, I'll build all of the weapons, and then we'll do a photo shoot. If you've watched any of the previous videos, you'll know that I don't like to put the weapons together in the video, and I don't like putting the stickers on during the video as well. Mostly because those are small details that, unlike the actual gunplay itself, those are time consuming, and I will be underneath the camera, to be honest. With the overhanging webcam recording everything that I'm doing, if I was to do the stickers and the weapons during the recordings, the weapons not so much, mostly the stickers, if I was to do those while recording it, you'd mostly see the back of my head, because I have the model kit up close to make sure that it's nice and even. And there's nothing more, there's nothing more bothersome than seeing that one sticker that's off just a little bit. It's when we start working on the head, you'll see that I switched out the eyes, because the eyes that I had on beforehand, the paint got scratched, and it was, instead of a solid gold, it was more of a gold that was bleeding out. So instead we switched them out for another set of eyes, of course. The RX Real Grade model kit comes with 2 sets of eyes. It comes with the a regular activated eye with the black paneling around it, and then it comes with a set that you can put a blank black labeling over it, the golden parts. So to each their own, however you want to set it up. I'm not entirely sure why there's those 2 differences, but if you know, let us know in the comments below. Always welcome to more information about these fun little projects. Now, one of the things I'm always super cautious about when putting the model together is I'm super concerned about how long it takes. A video that takes about 3 hours long, I can condense it to, we'll say, roughly 15 minutes. But the issue with it being roughly 15 minutes is the fact that I don't know how much you're actually seeing and how much you're missing out on. So I have to edit and kind of make sure that when we do the time lapse, you don't miss out on a lot, but you're also not watching 3 hours worth of footage. Because I don't know about you all, but normally when I watch videos that long, I kind of put them on in the background and just let them run. And while that's something you can do here, I don't think you want to hear 3 hours worth of me talking about one model. And no lie, I don't want to talk for 3 hours for one model. I already told you all that I'm getting used to the talking portion of all of this, and it is still something new to me, and we're figuring it all out. But 3 hours sounds a little too rough for me. That's also why we stopped doing live streams, because your boy doesn't talk. I just kind of sit there. Now, speaking of talking, we do plan on, and I mean me, plan on doing a podcast for the extras, the side segment under the Model X channel. Now, the podcast we're going to figure it out. I make no promises about how good it'll be. It'll be my first time making a podcast. So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't know how well it'll go, but it's worth a shot. Once I get more information on that, I'll drop that this week or next week. I'm trying to get it done as soon as possible. So that's just something to keep in mind. I'm not entirely sure what it'll be. It'll probably be more like a talk show where we talk about, video games. Those other things I really enjoy and spend money on for no reason. That'll be something to talk about. I'm a big anime fan, so it'll be anime, manga, and video games. My top 3 things. And what's real nice? Gundam comes in all 3. It's a great idea for me. And with the upcoming Gundam Battle Operations 2, I will be super stoked to do that for you all, as well as the upcoming Daemon X Machina on the Nintendo Switch. It drops sometime in August, September, I want to say. And I'm excited for it. They just dropped the cover art for it, and it looks pretty dope. So that is one I'm looking forward to, and we will actually be talking more about it on the extras. So keep your head and keep your eyes, ears tuned, and keep a lookout for that. I will be dropping that stuff on the Model X Facebook page. We did create a WordPress website for it, but let's be real, it's easier for me to do Facebook. I have a page that I can interact with you all with. You can comment, like, share, as well as, just reach out and leave a little bit of feedback. Feedback is always welcome. It helps me grow, and it helps me learn more techniques, and, it's gotten me this far. If you go back and you look at the very first video we've done, it was more of just side views of a guy putting things together, and I would like to say that the Model X page has gotten better. Instead of doing side views and it being roughly 45 minutes to an hour long, we've been able to scrub them down to, I'd say, about 25-30 minute segments with better lighting, top-down views, music, and voiceovers. This has been work over the past couple of months, and I'm really proud of the Model X page, and I'm glad to have you all along for the journey. If you know anyone who genuinely enjoys Gunpla or building just fun things like this, please share the page for them so that they can see and they can join us on this journey as well. Another thing is we will be going to BonsaiCon around the 19th. The 20th is when we plan on going, but BonsaiCon happens around the 19th, 20th, and the 21st. So that week, if you want to catch Model X out and about, we'll be there on that Saturday. I do plan on something I would like to do is try to do a table and talk about Gunpla and introduce more people to the building of Gunpla. And it's one of those things that looks super intimidating if you don't quite understand it. But once you sit down and you look at it and you see someone putting one together, or you see how it's done and you see the steps that it comes with, it's not that bad. And I would love to expand the Gunpla community in this area. And, reach out and get more people involved, because it's a fun little, it's like art. If you look at some of the dioramas that are out there and you look at some of the things people have done, as well as the kit bashings and the colorings, they take a whole idea and they change it and they make it their own. Some people compete for them. I don't think I could ever compete in a Gunpla building. I don't know if they're called challenges. It's competition, I guess. I couldn't do it. I don't think I could. My skills are still very basic, but I would love to learn from some of them. They make some gorgeous stuff. I want to say they're called EVAs, from Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think that's how it's pronounced. They have the EVAs, and there is one that is painted like the RX-78, and that is the coolest thing that I have ever seen. So I would love to start getting on that level, but until then, we're just going to, build like this. We're just simple, right from the books, nothing, tweaked here and there. Now, the one thing I really wish that the real grade had, was that the master grade had, is the lights in the head unit. Now, the master grade does have those lights, and I do have the light for it. It's just that battery died like 2 days after I had it. Albeit I left it running, and I probably shouldn't have, but it died nonetheless. It's cool, and I'm really proud of it. Now, this audio might be a little louder than usual, and we're going to have to tone it down. I'll figure out how to tone it down. I'll make sure that y'all hear me over the sound of the music that genuinely plays in the background. I have been looking for other music and other songs to play. I really want to lean more towards the lo-fi, but this jazz funk, pop stuff that we've been playing is pretty good, and it is all from the YouTube music library, so I don't have to worry about getting copyrighted. So that's pretty nice. I've stayed away from finding other channels that make, and I air quote, royalty-free music, because that's a gray area, and I'm still figuring out how to copyright thing and how to put that in there that, you know, hey, don't sue me. That's something we're still figuring it out. So I figure if I just, you know, use what YouTube lets me, I ain't got to worry about that. So we're just going to keep it simple, you know? All in all, though, the RX-78 Real Grade model kit did turn out really well. And if you saw yesterday, we posted the photos for it. I genuinely love taking photos of these things. I think it's a blast to do. And the head unit for this wasn't that bad. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's just me, but every time I put specifically the RX-78 together, the head unit reminds me of an old samurai style head with the I don't know what you would exactly call it, the wing bits on the head. So every time I look at it, that's what I get, this old samurai style feel. Now, I could be wrong, it might just be me, but it's just something to think about. Now, we are coming up onto the end of the video, and I'm genuinely excited about it, and I'm glad I got to share this experience with you all. The RX-78 Real Grade, this model version, comes with I think it's called the Hyper Bazooka. It comes with the beam rifle, which also tucks away into the shield, 2 beam sabers as well. So that's pretty cool. The fact that you can tuck the beam rifle away into the shield is a really nice feature, and I like it a lot. The pose I have him in is phenomenal, and I can't wait for you all to see it. Actually, you've already seen it, and if you've not seen it, please drop on by the Facebook page and the Instagram page to see more photos of the RX-78, as well as previous models that we've put together. Yet again, here I go putting stuff together off camera, and my apologies, it's just a bad habit of mine. Now, this piece right here gave me the hardest of time, and you're about to see me tinker with it a good 4 or 5 minutes. That's because I couldn't get it together. But there's no sense of accomplishment like finally putting the head down on the model kit and seeing it all come together and come to life. My favorite part of putting any of the model kits that have the V-fin together, my favorite portion is when you finally get down to the part where you slide that V-fin on, and I mean, it brings it all together. But guys, this has been the RX-78 Real Grade model, and I've had fun putting this video together. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, subscribe down below, comment, and let me know if there's any other kits you'd like to see done, or as stated below, if there's any tips, tricks, or hints that you can share. Like I said, don't forget to slide on over to that registration so we can all play as Grandpa in the new mobile game. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.